What is going on, and welcome back to the channel. As you can see from my intro, I am back here working on the Tahoe. I'm finally gonna get these transmission lines taken care of. So far I just went and removed the grill. I removed the top plastic piece that was on top covering the radiator. Then I came in here and there's these four kind of Phillips headed clips. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then over here I pulled out the top headlights, and there's a clip that just clips the end into a fender, so I just tugged on it and it came out. But with the grill removed, we have access to the old transmission cooler. Now, initially I was just going to be replacing the cooler lines, and I was leaving this cooler in here, but then one of you guys recommended the Tru-Cool max cooler for these trucks, so I went and picked one of those up. We're going to be installing that today. I also went out to performancetrucks.net and I got the little retrofit kit that allowed you to reuse the stock lines. So what we're going to be doing is removing the clips here, getting the lines out of the old cooler, assuming that they come out. Before I do that, I'll show you the cooler I picked up. We'll compare the sizes, and then we'll get underneath the truck and get these lines ripped out. All right, so first thing I'm going to be doing is removing the old cooler. Now, all these hoses on pretty much a lot of GM vehicles, they use these little clips that hold the oil cooler lines as well as the transmission cooler lines into the cooler and into the radiator itself. So removing this is relatively simple. You have this little plastic clip down here. This just goes over the outside of it. So you can pretty much, sometimes you just twist it and pull it off. I just used a flathead to kind of pop it down. Once you get that out of the way, you have the clips under here. Come in here with a really, really tiny kind of eyeglass screwdriver, flathead, or I'm using a pick, and just get in here and pull this clip back. And when you do that, you can get it started and just roll it around, and this is what it looks like. And that's all it's holding the line in. So once you get that out, you'll be able to wiggle the line and pull it out. Sometimes they do get rusted in there. In my case, I'm changing the cooler, so if I can't get this out, I'm just going to cut it off here. But most of the time, if they're not really, really rusted, they will come out, and you could just kind of twist them back and forth, wiggle them loose, and they will pop out. There's just an O-ring in there sealing it up. This just holds the line in and keeps it from blowing out. It like kind of locks into a little lip that's on the line itself. All right, so here's everything I'm going to be installing today. I have the Tru-Cool Max cooler. I have the new transmission cooler lines, as well as the fluid, and I'm going to throw a quart of Lsx transmission fix in there, being this is the original transmission, as far as I know, with over 210,000 miles on it. So I'd rather be safe than sorry, throw that in there to prevent any possible slipping or any issues from occurring. Now, any of you guys who've been following this series since the beginning, you'll know I pulled the pan on this transmission a few months back just to change the filter and the fluid. So I changed the filter, I inspected everything, it looked all right. There wasn't really a lot of metal or anything in there. It looked pretty normal. I filled it up with 4 quarts of fluid, and my plan was just to drive it a little bit, work the new fluid in, and then I'll come back, change the lines. I never got around to changing the lines until today, approximately almost 3,000 miles later, actually. So transmission's been fine, no problems with it, but I'm going to be replacing the cooler lines because one of them is leaking, and I do plan on towing with this truck. That's why I went with the massive cooler. This is the kit I picked up from performancetrucks.net. I'm going to leave a link to the thread. All I did, literally, I just Googled it. I'm not even a member on there because I just got this truck. And the guy who messaged me on Instagram told me that a guy on there made the kit. And what this does is it pretty much makes it a direct fit. It has brackets and everything to mount the thing. And it lets you use the stock clip-on factory line, so you don't have to kind of like jerry-rig hose clamp the thing in. And this kit with the brackets and all the fittings cost me 75 bucks. All right, so no more talking. I'm gonna get this cooler pulled out. I'm gonna get the old lines ripped out. And then before I go installing everything, we'll walk through everything and I'll show you guys exactly where the lines go, how they hook into the transmission. And then we'll be installing the cooler together, because that's the only thing I haven't actually done on these trucks before. We'll be going through that and seeing how the new cooler fits. All right, so the old cooler is out, and before I continue ripping the rest of this stuff out, check out the difference in size between the stock cooler and the Tru-Cool cooler. I mean, that is just massive compared to the stock one. I mean, you look at this, it's like, what's the point? It's so tiny. I mean, what's it really doing after seeing the one that's gonna go in there? And I mean, there's plenty of room to fit this thing. Shit. Come on. Wow, really? Third try. It must have knew I was recording. Now the key is to not lose it. Moz. There you are, you little fuck. Alright, so with all the cooler lines removed, next step I'm going to be doing is putting all the clips back in. So these little cooler clips, the ones that are in the radiator, the ones that are on the transmission, those are going to be just clipped right back into place. That way when we put the lines in, the O-ring's already in there, so it's just going to slide in, the clip's going to be there, and you'll feel it click into place, and then you could just put the cover on. The other thing is, if you put that in and the plastic cover doesn't want to go over it, then chances are that the clip isn't seated, which means the line isn't all the way in, so definitely wiggle the line back and forth, make sure it doesn't pull out. Try to push it in as hard as you can until you can get that plastic to go over the outer lip where the clip's going to be sitting. But I got all the old lines out. The ones on the transmission side are an absolute pain in the ass. On the 4L80s, the lines are spaced apart, but on the 4L60s, if you could see under here, they're stacked, but those two fittings right up there, those are where it connects to the transmission. So I already took those clips out, pulled the lines out. The top one was really stuck in there, but I managed to just get up there with the pick and grab the edge of the clip and get it out. So now the lines are out. I'm gonna have to get my hand in there, get the clips back in both of those fittings. I'm gonna clip the lines back into this side. I had to pull the bottom one off first before I could get access to the top. So I'm gonna be doing it reverse, put the top line in and then the bottom. This is where they were leaking from. See, it's all like grimy where the rubber is actually crimped to the metal line. Same for this one. Just leaking a little bit there. But I'm gonna go get these lines installed and then we'll get to installing this cooler. Probably should have paid attention to where exactly these came out of. That better? Yeah, transmission fluid on the lens. It's probably a little hazy. Anybody who's done this job before knows what a pain in the ass this packaging is. I don't know why they package them this way. One hose, the one that I put on the truck, always comes in like a bag or with no packaging, but the other one, they have to freeze dry it. Almost there. Yeah, the battery just went dead before I could pop that clip in. So if there's a noticeable drop in quality, believe me, there is, because I'm using my GoPro 4 before I was recording with the 7, but all those batteries are dead, so this is gonna have to do. But I just finished getting those two lines plugged into the transmission. I got the clip on, went in as smoothly as, get my blanket over here. Went in as smoothly as the first one. So you can see they are both popped into the transmission there. I got the plastic over both clips. I came in with a rag. I just wiped any like grease and crap off the new lines. So all the pain in the ass stuff is pretty much done. Now we're gonna get to install that cooler. There's only that one last line I have to install. We'll go up there, pop that into the radiator, and that's gonna be it. I just noticed something. I had to unplug. I guess this is the impact sensor for the airbag. Actually, no, it isn't. I just realized it's like a dead plug. I guess it's just a cap. So I was gonna have to, I thought I was gonna have to reinstall that bracket. I gotta see what the cooler actually calls for, if that piece needs to be installed or not. But I forget what I was saying. Clip, just like that. That's in place. It's supposed to like wiggle and stuff. And then, just like that, cover goes right over it. And that's it, you're good to go. All right, so we are pretty much there for these lines. All it's left to do is just clip these into here. I'm not going to do that just yet because one of these I'm pretty sure has to be modified for the cooler because it comes with a compression fitting. All right, so getting ready to install this cooler. The cooler itself isn't going to come with instructions as far as how to install it. Specifically to this truck, being the kit I got is aftermarket or custom from the guy from performanceTrucks.net. Unfortunately, it looks like I do not have the instructions. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that it came with instructions, but I opened the thing up previously and I don't know what the hell happened to them. I'm looking on the forum right now and I don't see any instructions. It's just photos of other guys who installed it, but by the looks of it, this bracket here is going to go up here like that. The holes line up, and then the other one's going to go across the bottom. So I'm just going to try to go by looking at the photos, and we'll see if we can make this work. They included these clips, so I'm assuming these are going to go in here because there aren't any threads. And then these appear to be 10 millimeters. These are the quick disconnect, the GM fittings that are provided with the bracket kit, and I'm just going to install these in the cooler, and that's going to allow us to make a factory connection just like the stock one. Alright, so let's get these clips popped in here. These are what are actually going to hold the cooler to the brackets. Alright, so one thing I had to do is go underneath and remove this clip that I reinstalled in the front here that holds these two guys together, because when the cooler is actually installed, you can see the line is over way farther than it was stock. So with that unclipped, that's going to allow me to pull this over where it needs to go. As for this one, you can see it's facing in the wrong direction. They do give you a compression fitting with the kit. So I'm just going to go in there with the compression fitting. I'm going to cut this hard line probably right here at this straight piece, and then just twist it 180 degrees and then use the compression fitting to tie it back together. For anybody who hasn't used a compression fitting before, this thing just fits over the line, and as you tighten it, it presses onto there and forms a seal. Now, you can't use these on brake line, but you can use them. They're like for plumbing and stuff like that. This is low pressure for the transmission cooler, so you can use them for this. But I'm going to just tighten it onto the bottom line first, and then we'll position the top and tighten that. I got my compression fitting on here. Now this is just going to simply slide into there. We're going to tighten it down, and it'll just pop right in like that. Snug. Oh yeah, that's perfect. All right, so all the lines are on. Let's start it up and see if it leaks. Feel the fluid flowing through it. Oh, we already got a leak. All right, so we have a leak from the bottom corner over here. I don't know where it's coming from. It looks like it's coming from inside the fins. I don't know if it's a defect. I'm gonna try to remove it and check in the back if there's any cracks like in these solder joints or anything. Where is it leaking from? All right, stop. I'm gonna pull it off and try to take a look at the back of it, see if I can see anything. All right, so I pull this stupid thing out, and it looks like there's just some kind of leak right in the corner here. I looked at all the solder joints around here. I don't see anything at all. It's not even wet. All the fluid is coming out from like right in between these fins in this corner, like right here, not even at the end, just like right in the middle. So I gotta see, I guess for now I'm gonna have to bypass this thing with like a piece of hose and some clamps, and we'll come back once I get this thing swapped out. All right, so it's the next day once again. The driveway was just too slushy and wet and crappy, so I waited for all that stuff to melt and kind of dry up before actually crawling onto here to do this. But I got the truck warmed up, so I'm just gonna go under here with my drain pan, just take the plug out of the trans, drain the old fluid out, and then we'll come up top. I'm gonna show you guys how I'm going to put the Lucas in with the new transmission fluid. Then I guess we'll just go and take it for a test drive. 5/8. 15. 15. This bolts. Now I'm the one that put it on. Harbor Freight Ratchet. Don't spray on my face. Oh, nice. That don't look too bad. Probably because I just changed it. Now it's time to check up the rear. Is it working? All right, guys, so I got the transmission fluid drained. I jacked the back up just so I could kind of level it out, because on the ramps to get more fluid out because the drain plug was in the front of the pan. But for anybody who's just tuning into this channel and you're wondering why I'm just draining the pan, I'm not getting all the fluid out. I did a pan removal, filter replacement, and fluid change on this truck in a previous video. I'm going to link that right at the top of the screen. So after I changed the filter, I filled it up with some cheap fluid, and I've been driving it around for a couple of thousand miles just to kind of let it work in. And that's why I just came in here now to drain it again. Now I'm going to put in the final fluid as well as the Lucas transmission fixed. Now it's worth noting my transmission doesn't have a problem, knock on wood. I mean, if you get 200,000 miles out of your transmission, you should be very happy. For the 4L60E that's in this truck, a notoriously bad transmission, at least when it's beat on. 213 is a lot. Now, to my knowledge, this transmission has never been replaced, so I'm pretty much going to put this in there as a preventative measure just to thicken up the fluid. And I am going to be towing with this truck, so I want to try to extend the life of that transmission as much as possible. So anybody who's familiar with this stuff knows it is very, very thick. I mean, it is like molasses, and trying to get this down a dipstick tube is a complete pain in the ass. Now, what I have here is a clean bottle of Poland Spring water. It's empty, of course, dried out, and all I'm going to be doing, I think this transmission takes 5 quarts. I'm going to start with 4, and I'm just going to pour the transmission fluid in here, and then I'm going to pour the Lucas into this and kind of mix it around. That's going to lower the viscosity of the Lucas and make it a lot easier to pour down the dipstick tube. Look at that. So you can see by pouring this in here, I'll be able to mix it around real good. I mean, literally, it's just like jelly. Now, if your pan takes 5 quarts, which is what I believe this truck takes, I'm gonna have to check that before I put the final quart in. You're just substituting 1 quart of transmission fluid with the Lucas. This is just gonna further lower the viscosity of the Lucas. You can see how, hopefully you can see how gooey it is at the bottom. But I'm just gonna try to mix this all together. Hopefully the Lucas blends in. That seems to be mixed pretty well. As long as nothing's stuck to the bottom of the container, I think this should pour out pretty well. You can see what I mean, how much easier this flows when the Lucas is pre-mixed. Kind of settle to the bottom there. But still way, way easier to pour than when it was just in the bottle alone. So that's 4 right there. Let's put the last one in now. We'll get off the ramps. We'll have to let it warm up before we can get an accurate reading on the stick. All right, so I'm just gonna let this warm up with the funnel in there just to kind of shake any last drips out. And then I'm gonna throw the dipstick in, we'll go for a ride, come back and check the level. All right, so I just finished driving around and got it all warmed up. Right when I came back, FedEx came, they dropped off the new cooler, so I just popped it in quick and you can see no leaks. The problem I ran into is one of these fittings was very hard to get on, getting the line into it. So what I ended up doing was pulling it out and I put it on the line first by hand. I kind of twisted it on and then I came in here and screwed this on. I think that's why the other cooler is leaking. When I was trying to get this on, I probably like cracked a solder joint or something like that. But that's on me. But you can see the truck's running, nothing's leaking. Compression fitting is doing good, no leaks there. And this thing fits really, really good. So I'm gonna link the bracket that I use, this cooler. I would definitely recommend getting this kit from that guy on performancetrucks.net because it definitely makes it a lot easier. You get to use the factory lines. You don't have to deal with like hoses and clamps and all that BS. And you can just see the difference in size between the stock one and the Tru-Cool. I mean, it's just massive. So between this, the synthetic fluid, the Lucas, hopefully this 4L60 will be up to the task of towing the Camaro. As for the fluid level, it is a little bit high. I'm just gonna go into the truck and drain a tiny bit out. Other than that, no leaks, new coolers installed. I'm very happy with the way this thing looks, the way it fits. I'm just gonna go throw the grill back together and then let's wrap this video up. All right, just like that, we're back together. You can see our nice big cooler right inside the grill there. All right, so the new cooler is in. I got the Lucas in there. I didn't adjust the level yet. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But it's fully warmed up. Driving it around feels absolutely normal. Like I said, there wasn't a problem with the transmission. I just put the Lucas in there as a preventative measure, and then the ultra coolers because I am going to be towing with the truck. Also, if you want to support the channel, go pick up some merch. I do have hoodies and tees available. Link is going to be at the top of the screen. I'm also going to post a link to the thread on performancetrucks.net if you want to go pick up that bracket kit that I use that lets you use that lets you mount it directly to the factory spot, as well as use the factory quick disconnect fitting. So as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.